Vermont may be a small state size, but it has had a large impact in breaking barriers. And today we will take a look at two Vermonters who done just that. Alexander Twilight is a person who broke barriers in Vermont history. I asked Middlebury College Professor William R. Au.
How should we see Alexander Twilight as being a barrier breaker? Part of that answer lies, I think, with when you are studying Alexander Twilight. Today, yes, we think of him as the first graduate of African American descent who graduated from an American college. And in that regard, he very much is a groundbreaker. At the time that he was a student here, it's unclear that Middlebury students and faculty and administrators thought of him as a person of color. If you look at his photograph, you can see that he is a person of some racial mixture, perhaps, but it's difficult to know and to tell. But now that we know who he is, absolutely. He is celebrated as the first African American to graduate from an American college. In that regard, big breaker of barriers. However, I do give a lecture on Alexander Twilight, in which I frame him as a man of indomitable will. He had tremendous energy and tremendous foresight, and just a man who wanted to improve whatever community he lived in. Moved up to Brownington, built a school that looks like Painter Hall, almost a replica like Painter Hall, and developed a private school, became the headmaster, became a pastor in that community, even became a legislator for the state of Vermont for a couple of years. And he was just a man of great energy, great fortitude, great ambition, and so I think those are the kind of lessons that we can learn from Alexander Twilight's life.
Alexander Twilight served in the Vermont legislature for one term, 1836, 1837. It would be another 112 years before another black person was elected to the legislature. That happened in 1948 when William Anderson, who homed and horsed in Durham, was elected. So, again, Alexander Twilight has shown us he is a breaker of barriers in Vermont history. Anna Beard was a Vermont woman who broke barriers in a I asked the Speaker of the House, Mincy Johnson Au.
A critical barrier, which was women's participation in the legislature. She was the first woman elected to the Vermont House and the first woman 2 years later elected to the Vermont Senate, which was all happening just after the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, giving women the right to vote. It was an enormous barrier. I believe the 19th Amendment had everything to do with Edna Beard running for the legislature. Without it, women didn't have the right to vote. And in fact, when she won her election, the year that she was elected, she ran in a primary and lost by 3 votes. And then between the primary election and the general election, she decided to run as a third-party candidate, registered 40 women in the town to vote, and ended up winning by 38 votes. So not only did the 19th Amendment allow her to get engaged personally, it gave, I believe it also gave her the votes she needed to win the election.
Anna Beard's first day in the State House started out as a celebration, but it was later reported that it didn't take long for the day to go terribly wrong. On Wednesday, January 5th, 1921, Representative Milton Smith of Landgrove moved that Miss Beard be able to pick her own seat for the session. She chose seat 146. The seat next to 146 was empty, and none of the other men wanted to sit next to her. For more than an hour, seat 145 remained vacant. Finally, other members dared Representative Wicklow loose from Parfit to sit next to her, and the other men were laughing and crying. As this happened, how humiliating this must have been for Anna Beard.
I think Edna Beard took a really important step forward for women in Vermont and for all of Vermont, really, to make sure that everybody's interests could get to a place where they were balanced in the legislature.
Alexander Twilight can teach us that when an individual is not defined by race, that is, when his or her potential and abilities are not prejudged, predetermined, and thus limited by his or her racial identity, then that individual can accomplish great things. Twilight was a man of indomitable will, a scholar, a pastor, a Vermont state legislator, and an educator who lived a life beyond race. We living in the 21st century should learn from his example, as well as that of Marionette Anderson, and see in every individual, regardless of race, dignity, merit, and value.
100 years later, we still have a ways to go. I'm very proud that right now we have a female speaker. The majority leaders in both the House and the Senate are women. One of the minority leaders in the House is a woman. 8 out of 14 chairs, including the money chairs in the House, are women. Money chairs in the Senate, the 2 money chairs in the Senate are also women. So we've made enormous strides forward. We're still not up to 50% of the legislative body. We still are well under 50% in Congress and in the U.S. Senate. So we still have a long way to go, but we're getting there, and I'm looking forward to continuing that work.